and we are live here on Stick to the Skrip 2024. It's been a while. The show had a brief pause. Life got crazy, but we're back at it. We're back at it. And, coming back to the podcast, I had to get one of my best friends back on the show. He was on it last season, or whatever you want to say it, in 2023. And we're back at it. I think this is going to be a more consistent thing. Once again, fantasy football kind of died down for me a little bit, which is cool. And it gives me personally some time to get back on the podcast. So, Tane, man, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I want to kick things off by just covering New Year's, man. Did you do something for New Year's Eve? How'd that go?
New Year's was okay. I started out drinking a little early on New Year's, which was nice.
Oh man.
I feel like that's kind of the day that you do it.
Yeah.
But honestly, New Year's was pretty quiet. Met up with a couple of friends and hung out over at their place for the ball drop for a little bit and just headed home. I didn't even go as hard as I normally would have in past New Year's. So this was okay. This was all right.
Yeah. I always think about past New Year's, like at my brother and I used to host at my parents' house all the time and just going like wild and having all these stories, and sometimes it's good stories, sometimes bad stories, and a lot of controversy, a lot of stuff that can't be said, all the good stuff in between. But I was the same way, man. I was low key. I was here with Tess. We played games. I mean, I had some drinks. I wasn't, getting wasted by myself or anything, but had some drinks here, and we just played games. It was the most low key New Year's Eve I think I've ever had, but I kind of liked it.
It's nice. I feel like it's nice to do New Year's that way, and it almost kind of feels like, the wild days are over a little bit. But I mean, I think we still got a few. I think we still got a few wild ones in us. It's just going to look different in the future.
I think so for sure. I think once things change, you get a little bit older, kids are involved, things like that. You don't do the same stuff you do all the time. But I do think that when you do get to have those times together, it makes them even better, because if we're still hanging out doing the same party sort of stuff that we did years ago every single weekend, it just gets repetitive. Right. But if you take these breaks and you pick and choose, I think it makes it even better. So head into the new year, 2024, New Year's resolutions. Anything come to mind as far as that? Something you are trying to be committed to? What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, every year I feel like we all go through the cliche where it's like, if you're out of shape, it's I want to go in the gym, or I want to be in better shape. Or if you're eating like shit, it's I want to try to eat better, work on my diet, things like that. Or if you want to save money, things like that, man. I don't really have anything too crazy. I'm participating in Dry January for this month.
Ooh.
So that's an interesting one. You know me.
So, 9 days deep. Are you okay or what?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm dying for a beer right now. Like it's
shaking. Do you supplement like oh man, that's what I say. When I first saw you on the show, I was like, this guy ain't right. So do you are you switching out like beer or alcohol for something else? Like you drinking more like teas or like energy drinks or something, or what?
Just more Red Bull. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just more Red Bull. But I mean, honestly, I use the Red Bull in a productive way, man. It's good for video games.
Oh yeah, there you go.
For work, staying focused with that, so that's good. And to be honest, I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, Kels, she asked, if I wanted to do it, and honestly, I didn't really have that in mind. But I was just like, I ain't no bitch. Like I could do it,
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, bet. Like I'll do it. Yeah.
But then at this point, you're like, I'm starting to feel like one just a little bit. I got an energy drink right here too. I got an old school Monster. It's got B vitamins. It's got L-carnitine, which I think just makes you stronger or something like that. But I last year gave up for my New Year's resolution. I gave up dipping, and like I used to dip when I used to drink or video game and stuff, and I went the entire 2023 without dipping one time, and I haven't went back to it. That was a good resolution. I think resolutions, like you said, are kind of cliche. It's always like the gym or like the this and that, but I stopped that. So I thought to myself too, I'm gonna stop drinking, and see how long I can go. But I went a couple days and then I went back to it because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? We have a baby coming. Tess and I have a baby coming in February. I should just stop in February. So I think I'm doing the opposite of dry January. I'm not getting like wasted all the time or anything like that. But I feel like I'm on my last month. And then after that, I got to just chill out because if she, water breaks, I got to be able to get in the car and go, So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Man, the reason why, so I don't know. I don't know about February because the reason why I wanted to do it at this point and get it over with. I gotta get hammered for the Super Bowl. I was just thinking about it. The Super Bowl.
That's
why I was like, man, like Super Bowl is like that's the night.
Yeah, that's so close to. Go ahead.
But I mean, obviously you do what you want. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's one of those days I definitely want to have a few for. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure too. That's so close to when the baby is due. So
that is true. That is true.
That's it's been a while since this podcast's been a thing. But in the in between time, Tess and I used to do a bunch of shows together.
Yes,
she obviously is pregnant. We're expecting a baby in February, so that's coming up pretty hot here, and that's exciting stuff. So we got obviously Mila and Cyrus are 3 years old, they're 1 day apart, and then we're gonna have a little girl. So very excited about that, and that's gonna be the big 2024 move. Like I'm thinking ahead to things I want to accomplish and stuff. I'm very critical and anxious about everything. Like I want to be the best at everything all the time, whether it's like stuff in the gym or like stuff with fantasy football, content creation. Like I just go down the list. I'm like, I'm trying to be so good at everything, but that's number one in 2024 for me is just another baby. And, going back to figuring out like, what do I, do when a baby's this big? I got Mila and Cyrus. I'm suplexing them in the house and I'm like drop kicking them and, we're all fighting and stuff. Now I'm going to have like a little glass like baby. So it's going back to that.
Yeah, you can't get too rough for at least for a little while,
Couple
but
months.
I mean, but that's it's very, very exciting. Obviously very exciting. Anytime there's a new baby in the picture, I think it's always, it's a blessing, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you, I kind of miss when Cairo was that little a little bit sometimes. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
There's just something about, like obviously early on, there's not a whole lot that you can do, but they slept a lot. They didn't move. This guy is talking all the time. He's talking a lot of shit. He's talking shit to me, and look, I've had to spank this kid a couple of times. Like with the little one, when they're little, you don't really have to worry about too much. But this dude, he can get borderline disrespectful sometimes, man.
I think that's I can relate to that because I do have flashbacks, of Mila being this like cute little doll and just like I sat her next to me and where I'm playing video games or I'm just like playing with her, and now it could be something random where I'm like, Mila, go potty, and she just looks me dead in the eye and just screams for no reason.
For real,
I don't want to go potty, like over the top for no reason. Like everybody's chill, like. The house goes silent, like, what?
You're right.
Just screaming, just like you have these waves of what 3-year-olds are doing. So, I plan on talking about that a little bit at the end, but let's do it now. What else is up with Cairo? Is there there's some things what's new with him as far as day-to-day life?
Day-to-day, I mean, day-to-day things are pretty good. We're working on a new sleep schedule right now because his schedule has not been good. He's up as late as I am half the time, which is always a problem.
Yeah.
So working on some new sleep schedule right now, and that's been going good. I mean, other than that, man, he's been good. Just having him work on his manners and everything. Make sure that he's talking to people, right. I'm trying to think. Has he been doing anything funny as of late? Nothing too crazy, but he's definitely at his point to where he just wants to try you. He wants to push the envelope, see the shit that he can get away with. He wants to, he wants to talk shit. He wants to tell you that you're not tough. Like, I try to tell him what to do, and then he'll be like, when he wants to wrestle and he wants to fight, he'll get in my face and he'll be like, "What are you going to do about it?" And I'll be like, "What?" And then I gotta pick him up and I gotta slam him, and the next thing you know, we have a wrestling match for a while, which is fun. But he's good, man. He's bigger than average, which is very interesting. So we'll see how that how that continues to develop. So he's 3, but his last doctors, according to his last visit at the doctor, he's the size of an average 5-year-old. So that is
all right.
That is pretty interesting. So that's
he's,
pretty cool.
He's a big kid.
So we'll see, we'll see how that goes. I mean, honestly, I got to buy this kid shoes all the time. So I already figured that he was pretty good to begin with, because I'm like, damn, I'm buying shoes way more often than I feel like I need to be.
Yeah. I mean that's a good thing at the end of the day with them with him being ahead of schedule. I think that screams some future football or something along those lines.
Sports for sure, and that's definitely going to be something that we start to look into within this new year. I mean, he's getting to that age to where now he should be able to do like T-ball or something like that. So.
Yeah, that'll be fun. The two over here. The two over here, Mila and Cyrus, obviously have Mila 50% of the time, Dad even 50%. So I'm thankful for that. But
absolutely,
they're in waves with each other. They're very much like brother and sister over here. There's times where they're like holding hands at the store and they're giggling and hugging each other and just like Mila belly laughs at stuff Cyrus does all the time, and then it'll be out of nowhere like. Wanting the exact toy that the other one has when there's 1,000 toys at the house, or just like yelling at each other and stuff like that. It's funny, like Mila, I wish I had the confidence in myself that Mila does when she has like a nightgown dress on. Sometimes she tells me, and she's spinning around in her nightgown all the time and just saying, "Daddy, I'm so pretty," and all this stuff. I'm like, you know what, Mila, you are. And then on the other hand, I got Cyrus here, who's continuously telling me that he is going to kiss my wife. So I got that going on here too. So it's never the same thing every day in the household, which I think is cool. I think you're obviously your guys 3, mine are 3 too. I think it's such a fun age because there's always something new. They say out of pocket stuff out of nowhere. You have to be careful about what you say because they'll say the same thing. And I got bad stories about that, but it definitely is a fun age. But I got a couple topics I want to talk about today before we get too carried away in this one. And I thought there were just some interesting ones. And the first one I made like a little TikTok video about, and it actually had a bunch of views and it had a bunch of comments. So I guess people can relate to this. But I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me recently, and I want to hear what you think about it. So Tess was showing me on her phone this Facebook group. It's a Photoshop edit group. And what happens is people will like post a picture of themselves and ask the group, "Hey, can you make this picture look like this?" So sometimes it's like, "Hey, can you, remove this person from the background? Hey, can you add this to the picture?" And a lot of times it's funny, right? It's people are adding crazy stuff to the pictures and Photoshopping it. And I thought it was funny, right? I'm not going to follow the group because I don't really go on Facebook like that. I'll post stuff, but I don't really scroll on Facebook. So I liked what I saw from what she showed me, whatever. So tell me why, ready for this one. Tell me why the very next day, the first thing that I see when I open up my Facebook app is that exact group.
Yep.
Never looked it up. That's number one. One. So number two, this happened a week prior. I saw just going on there. I wish people happy birthday and stuff on Facebook, but I saw on Facebook, Unicorn World in Chicago. I don't know. It was like these robot unicorns that, kids can walk through and see. And I'm like, oh, I wonder, I was telling Tess, I wonder if Mila would like something like that. And I was just telling her about it. And then the next day, same thing happened to Tess. She opened up her Facebook app and the Unicorn World thing popped up on her phone. So how in the world is this stuff happening? What's your thoughts here? Are we being tracked? Are we being listened to? Like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but this shit's kind of a little iffy.
We're definitely being listened to a certain degree. I don't have like the tinfoil hat on. I'm not a super big conspiracy theorist. I kind of take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt. But yes, I definitely think that the phone is programmed to listen to certain keywords for sure. And most of it is just for advertising purposes. You know, like it's to help these companies to where it's like, yeah, I want to get my daughter a pony. Or if you say, you know, I need a new refrigerator, I need a new TV. The next thing you know, you're going on whichever one of these apps that you use, and you're seeing ads for this stuff. You know, so it's 1000%, you know, they're definitely trying to take advantage of that. And I feel like most of it is to make money. I can't necessarily speak on anything else, but it's smart because they definitely get a hold of a lot of us with that. I mean, I can be talking about, and that happens to me all the time. Like I can be talking about something random, you know, and the next thing you know, I will see it on my cell phone and I'm just like, this is impossible, but we know what they're doing. And it's, you know, it's just how they make money. It's fucking creepy though. I will tell you that. Because some of that stuff, you don't expect it. You expect it, and you don't expect it at all, and then it hits you kind of out of nowhere, and then you're just like, okay, this is wild now. Now I feel kind of uncomfortable.
I'm with you on that because as soon as that happened to me, you know, 2 times in the last like 2 weeks, I'm like, yeah, you know, one time it might have just been ironic, but now it's like twice, and all these people on the TikTok video I posted were like having all these outrageous comments, but then some of them made you think a little bit. So one of them was Facebook has an agreement that they are allowed your microphone access, that they pretty much saying that Facebook can listen to things you're saying at any time when the app is open. That was one thing. Another thing was that this person was like, Alexa, if you have an Alexa in your house, the Alexa app is always listening. So I don't know. I thought it was strange. And again, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist guy. I'm not into any of that shit like that. But I think sometimes when things start being repetitive and adding up, that starts to make you think a little bit. So now I kind of want to experiment. So I'm thinking like I'm going to talk about how bad I want, I don't know, a top hat or something like that. And I'm going to wait and see on Facebook if out of nowhere they got a top hat shop that just pops up or some shit.
1000%. You know, you should just start, you know, I don't know, just saying the most random things and seeing what pops up on your feed within and sometimes, I mean, it's most of the time I feel like it's like the following day. Other times it's within like a few hours you'll start seeing ads for this kind of stuff, and like it really makes you think, okay, what can I really start saying, you know, to where this phone can hear it and that's going to benefit me at the end of the day. You know, it's like I got to start thinking like, okay, is there a secret, you know, gold mine somewhere that I could potentially, you know, get in on?
Interesting.
Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like, or give me some free shit. How about that? Like, where's the free shit at?
Yeah.
You know?
But
like, I like a free cup of coffee every now and then.
Yeah. This could backfire too, though, because if you speak about this in your household and then out of nowhere you open your phone and there's an advertisement for like a singles dating app or something like that, then it's going to stir the whole pot of like, why is this popping up on your phone? What are you looking up or talking about at the end of the day? But another social media thing that I wanted to bring up, and you know, I'm not big into like these stories and the gossip and all that stuff, you know, typically, but I keep seeing this whole Gypsy Rose thing pop up over and over again. You know, it's been on TikTok, it's been on like, you know, just like Instagram, like whatever apps you want to go through. Again, I don't look at a lot of that stuff, but quick backstory of this whole thing, just so, you know, the people listening know, it's been popular. You know, she's out of prison and everything, and she's, you know, living her
it's a hot topic
life now. It is, but so basically her mom used to claim that she had all these health issues. She wanted to be her full-time caretaker. She said like she has leukemia, she has muscular dystrophy. She put her in a wheelchair and she had a feeding tube. She claimed like other disorders and she had a bunch of medication. She had a breathing machine, went through some surgeries. Her teeth rotted because of medication. And we found out that none of this was true. Her mom had like a mental illness and she just wanted to always be taking care of her. There's a word for it. I don't know how to say it, so I just like passed on it. But it continued into her teenage years. They like use and abuse like charities. They got a bunch of free stuff. As she got older, though, this Gypsy, she was like, you know, something ain't right. I don't believe it. And she was starting to look at her mom a little bit. So she, you know, went online, met a guy, tried to run away with him. Her mom found her, brought her back. But then she went online again, met this dude on a Christian dating app, Nicholas Godejohn, and told him everything about what's going on. and basically asked this dude to kill her mom. And he ended up coming to the house. He stabbed the mom to death. The lawyer, later they tried to go, run away together. They got caught up. They both went to prison. The lawyer got a plea deal. She pled guilty to second-degree murder. She served 85% of her 10 years. Her boyfriend, though, at the time was sentenced to life. So this has been all over social media because she's out. Any thoughts on this? I want to cover like one hot topic per episode on here. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and this is a good one. Man, it's crazy because in the beginning of the situation, you obviously feel for this girl. I feel like there are definitely some parents out there. They definitely, and I feel like they try to take advantage of their kids, or they have a disorder within themselves to where it's like, like you feel like your kid is always sick, or you feel like your kid has this kind of ailment that they don't really have. And I did a little bit of research on this, and I've seen this woman conduct herself in interviews. She looks completely normal. And I don't know if that's just like, she overcame a lot of these things with age, or if some of the stuff with the mom was true, but definitely sounds like the mom was on some fraudulent stuff. And, I don't know. And obviously, I can't say that she deserves to die. There's a whole movie with this. I think it's probably on Lifetime or one of those networks or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, I don't necessarily know. I would assume that relationship was probably a little bit abusive, mentally abusive. And then, obviously it ended up to her mom's, untimely death, which is really fucked up. But it's like, does this one dude deserve to do life for that? It's like, I don't know, because obviously if he hadn't have met this chick, then it's like, I don't know. And do you know how old they were when they committed the crime?
I don't. I don't want to guess the wrong thing. I want to say that, somewhere between 17 and 20, maybe. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I would think so. I feel like they were young. And, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily know if this, but dude, stabbing somebody to death, like that's pretty, that's brutal. Like a stabbing. To physically stab somebody to death, that is very fucking brutal. Like, obviously shooting somebody, is kind of one thing. It's definitely still pretty fucking bad, but to physically stab somebody, like that's kind of nuts.
You got the life though. A lot of people have been like, I guess the big debate here is like that I've seen is, he gets life, she gets out in less than 10 years. Technically, it was almost 10 years, but in he did the crime at the end of the day. I guess she was in the bathroom, holding her ears and stuff. But like you kind of said before, if this guy never met Gypsy, maybe he would have killed somebody else. I don't know. You obviously got to be sick and you got to be sick and twisted to actually perform, like you said, like a stabbing like that.
Absolutely.
But like the fact that she kind of told him to do it. I think she manipulated him again. He did the act, but it's like one person gets life, the other person gets not even 10 years. And the crazy thing I saw is, I think it was Dr. Phil or something. She was getting interviewed and she said like something about like, she wishes him the best on his journey. And I'm like, the journey that you steered him into that direction of that journey. Like, what do you mean the journey? Like you kind of like, you put him on the path to that journey at the end of the day.
Yeah. I saw her in a similar interview. And she was basically just like, I served my time, the time that was given to me. And, obviously, he's got his time. And yes, she basically echoed that same thing and was like, oh, I wish him the best on his journey. He has his life to live. His life is fucking over.
It is. You ain't got, you don't have any life to live.
It's done, man.
I'm not blaming her for everything. Again, like he had to go and perform this act, but like you're wishing somebody the best that you at one point was like, kill my mom for me and then we'll be together,
Right.
I don't know. It was an interesting story for sure. She's making money though off this whole thing because I keep seeing her everywhere. She's on interviews and she's on, TikTok and she's making, I think she's going to make a buck off of everything because she even came out and said something like, because I actually seen the movie about this that you mentioned.
Okay.
And I think she's talking about she wants this person to play her in the next one or something. So I don't know.
No,
She's
that's
making a buck
crazy.
off of this whole thing.
Yeah, she definitely is. She definitely is, and she can't be too right in the head either. She's got like the new boyfriend. I saw her in like an interview with the guy, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just kind of distasteful, because we saw what happened the last time you were in a relationship. And it's like, okay, cool. Glad that you're happy, after you served your time, or 8.5 years, whatever it was. But it's like, yeah, it's just weird, man. And obviously, she can't necessarily help the fact that the internet and people, like these people, they run away with this shit. Like man, like the people who watch, Lifetime, and that watch, I don't know what it's Lifetime, and these shows like Snapped, and all these television shows where like that, man, there's a market for this, where there are women, and I don't know too many dudes that watch it. I mean, I guess there's a lot of dudes. I don't want to just exclude the guys. There's a market for this, where people, they love this kind of content.
Like Anthony. Like Anthony and Martin, I think, likes that shit. There's a couple other guys like John Forsberg. I can go down the list here, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god, like that, I love that. But no, it's just crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. I try to stay away from that type of stuff, because I don't know. It's just a little too wild for me. I like to keep it a little light.
Yeah, I feel you. But I think the internet can just be very, very toxic at the end of the day, and want to consume stuff like that.
Yeah, because obviously this shit is snowballed now. And now,
Yep.
She's looked at as like a celebrity, and, people, really care about her life, and they're super invested, when this is a person that you probably should not be invested in at all. This woman she clearly has an extremely in-depth amount of psychological trauma that she needs to be in therapy. She needs to be thoroughly evaluated within the future. Therapy's got to be a part of like her parole or something like that.
Something. I mean, what happened to her was bad, 1,000%. Yeah, and I think she was like probably tortured for most of her life with everything that happened. But
I would definitely say so. But yeah, and obviously not even just in regards to the trauma of her going to jail, and obviously the crime, but just who she and what she had to deal with when she was a kid. Like when you're a kid, that's when your mind is molded. Like your parents should be putting nothing but positivity into your brain as a child, because I feel like that is what that's gonna help your outlook when you become an adult. So it's a real piece of work. The internet, we take things like this, and the shit snowballs, man. And then
that's what I'm saying. I think that's a good topic to finish off on here. We talked about the internet and how the internet can be a bit toxic and stuff.
Yeah.
What about some like other, and I can start it off, but what about some other like, toxic communities or things like that, or toxic areas? The one that comes to mind. So, we say, social media or the internet can be a bit toxic at times.
Yeah.
What's one that I've been thinking about more lately? Like community that is a bit toxic, and it'd be a surprise to some people, but I'm a big fitness guy, right? I'm a big gym guy, and I'm at the gym on days in the morning that I don't have Mila at the house. So if I have Mila at the house, I usually have to take her to daycare in the morning. So I'll work out at the house. I'll work out, and I'll also like work on fantasy stuff in the morning. If I don't have her, I go to the gym. So I see a lot of gym stuff all the time. Very toxic community in my opinion, because I feel like I'm not going to say the entire community is toxic, because I got buddies at the gym. I think there's a lot of people that have friendships there, but there's a lot of sketchiness at the gym, and I see it pretty often. Couple examples, like anytime there's a girl at the gym, everybody's trying to talk to the girl. Like if there's a girl lifting, everybody's trying to talk to the girl. I see couples that go to the gym together. There's this couple that is at my gym that works out together all the time, and the girl talks to every single, not me, talks to every single guy talks to every single guy, talks to every single guy at the gym, and her boyfriend is just behind her like the shadow. He don't talk to nobody, but he's like tagging along with her, working out with her, but he don't talk to nobody, and everybody's like giving her fist bumps and stuff like that. But also like, when I used to speak to people at the gym back in the day, I remember some people telling me like, oh, you see that older guy? I'm like, yeah, I always see him here. She's like, yeah, he literally will not stop talking to me every time I come here, and my girlfriend too. Like there's some kind of weird stuff that happens at the gym, and you wouldn't even think about stuff like that. But it almost makes me feel like, being uncomfortable sending my wife to the gym, just because I feel like I see some creepy shit sometimes
for sure,
from guys at the gym, and just like the environment that it is, and something I don't like. I don't know.
No, I've never actually really thought about, I guess the fact that, like the gym world could have its toxicities. Obviously, I feel like with just where we're at right now with the internet, and we all see videos from time to time of girls, and the shit that they wear at the gym. And like, look, I'm not policing women's bodies, so please, any woman that's watching this, don't don't take it that way. But some of this stuff, man, is like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, you wearing you got to have on, the tiniest, shorts in the world while you're doing, like, I don't know. I mean, hey, who am I to judge? Like, everybody can wear shorts at the gym. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of guys as well. Like, a lot of guys got to control their horny.
Yeah.
I feel like, and obviously I can't really talk too much on gym culture. I'm a fat guy. I'm not an avid gym goer. One day, maybe I will be one day, but right now, I'm not. So, but one thing I will say is that, I feel like a lot of guys, I feel like they're, from my experience from going to the gym in the past, because there were points in my life where I was an avid gym goer. I feel like there are a lot of guys that hit the gym on the regular basis that weren't necessarily like athletic. They weren't really, sports guys growing up. They're kind of guys that, like they were kind of maybe a little bit on the smaller side, maybe shy, didn't really talk to women like that. And they see girls in the gym in these outfits and they just lose their fucking minds. Which is natural, man. Like guys gotta be able to control your horny a little bit. Just act like you've been here before, Yeah.
Yeah. I think it becomes like a place to, I think some maybe think it's a place to like pick people up or something like that, or like to, or I think some guys actually, it's kind of like their outlet. I think a lot of guys are married half the time. It's their outlet to like talk to whoever they want, because they're just also at the gym with people. But it's surprisingly like it's a good environment. Like the gym I go to is a good environment. There's very good people there, but I see stuff all the time, and it makes me think. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like I wonder if, one day I was to go, later down the road, like, oh, me and Tesco, and then I'm going to see people like trying to like talk her up, and I'm going to go up to those people and be like, hey, like I've been going to this gym forever and you never talked to me one time. So why are you talking to her? Like shit like that. I don't know.
And that's one of those situations. Sorry to cut you off. That's one of those situations that would piss me off for sure. It's like, I've been in here and it's like, now all of a sudden you extra smiley when my girl's over here. It's like, you don't have no business. Like, don't talk to her.
I think I'm just overprotective, which it makes me think of a recent story. I don't think I ever told you this, but I thought I was going to be banned from this Target over here in Shorewood because there was this guy in there who works at Target, and he, Tess was using her card and it wasn't swiping right or something like that, and she, he went up to her and he's like, "Is everything okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get it to work." And then he came back up to her. I'm pretty sure this is how the story went. He came back up to her and he's like, "Is everything okay?" With like a little sass to him. I'm not saying anything, but I'm like saying something a little bit, but a little sass to him. And she goes, "I can't." She's like, "I'm trying to figure out my card. Is that okay?" And he's like, "No, it's actually not." So he was like being a little snippy with her as a Target employee. So she tells me this, and we're talking about being overprotective, like in a place like the gym. I ended up seeing the guy at Target, and I ended up going up to him, and I swear to God this happened. I went up to him. This is a couple months ago, so I had to avoid this Target for a little bit. So I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you're," and I said his name, and he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, my wife was here one time, and you were extremely sassy. And I said, you said it like that. I'm like, "You're very sassy to her."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I told him what happened. And he's like, "Well, I don't remember it being like that or something like that. And I said to him, I go, hey, I just want to know, like, if you're able to speak to her like that, are you about to have the same energy with me? And he goes, what? And I'm like, I want to know if you're going to have the same energy with me, and if you would have that same energy if you were to walk out of this place. And he's like, are you threatening me right now? Are you threatening me? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you that I think you're going to speak differently to me. And if you want to talk about it somewhere else, we can. And then he starts like pulling the phone out. Then he's saying like something about like, I think you're threatening me. You're on camera. And I said, I don't give a fuck about the camera, like whatever. So I thought I was banned from that target, but I think I could still go there.
Man,
yeah, I don't know. I'm just too protective.
No,
too
honestly,
protective.
Man, you just did what any man what you would at least would hope, all men would do, for their woman. There are a lot of like, I don't know too many dudes that wouldn't have reacted in that situation, the exact same way. So I definitely feel you on that. I know I would have. That's for fucking sure. And look, let's call it what it is. A lot of these dudes be extra sassy, and sassy is the word, like not even tough. You're not even talking tough. Like you just sound like a bitch, and you want to you have like this very like conniving tone, and I hate to sound like, but you sound like a woman almost. Like it's just a very bitchy attitude. And I promise I'm not trying to say that he sounded like a woman to be this guy that's just like a fucking misogynist or whatever. But some of these guys that talk that way, and they try to sound extra proper with the sass, and they get a little snooty, they need to get hit in the mouth. Like, let's just call it what it is. Some of these guys need to get slapped in the face when they have that type of energy, because it's like you don't have any business talking to nobody like that.
Go ahead.
No, shit gets real fast. That's it. And they just don't understand. They think they can just go through life talking to people, in a certain way, and they don't think anything's going to happen to them.
Yeah, and I think just like a person like that, like they knew that they can like be snippy with like her, like she's like 4'11", right? But like you're not going to do it to me, so why do it to anybody in general? Like if you're not going to say or act that way towards me, don't do it towards her. So that was the whole emphasis of me going in there, is like, if you're going to be that way with her and you're not going to be that way with me, then probably don't be that way. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of a hard conversation like I did with him. And I bet you that he acts different now in the future, which maybe I'm just serving out life lessons here. I don't fucking know, but
no, that's definitely a life lesson.
What it is. It is what it is. So cap off the podcast here. Anything 2024 that you want to get done? Anything that you're like, this ain't even a resolution. You got a full year ahead of you here. Is there something that stands out? You're like, you know what? I'm trying to get this done in 2024. Right? Anything?
Just
any change and any goal, like whatever. Open mic.
Honestly, yeah. Basically, just trying to continue to complete milestones with my son. Within my relationship, trying to make sure that everybody is that we have a plan, that we're following the plan, checking off goals, and then honestly following up with business ventures, stuff that I want to do, like just personally on the business side of things, whether if that's creating content or, investing in stocks and like trying to increase like my portfolio, and whether if that's crypto or stocks, bonds, whatever the case may be, but just continuously just trying to level up, just be better, like obviously just trying to be a little bit better this year than I was last year, just trying to, make sure that my family is straight. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like, I feel like there's only so many things that you can really, like aspire to do, as a man. And like most of that is just trying to make sure that you're, that you're putting your family in position, that we're all just, on the same page, like as a unit to thrive, That's pretty much it. Like, I don't have anything, super specific, you know what I mean? But it all just involves just trying to grow and just trying to just be better with age, that's it.
I think that's all you have to do at the end of the day. I think, if you were to respond to that question, say, I'm trying to make my million this year, and I'm trying to, get my Lambo, and I'm trying to, get a CEO position. It's nice to have these wild things, but I think just having the progression of where you are now and where, taking one step forward to where you want to be is enough. I think for me personally, I'm very satisfied, anti-complacent. So if I'm not by the end of the year a better, you go to the works, if I'm not a better fantasy football content creator, if I'm not a better father, if I'm not a better husband, you just go down the list. If I can't take steps to be better at the things that I need to be good at in life, then I didn't do enough this year, because I don't think I'll ever sit there and just be like, you know what, I'm pretty good at this, I'm cool with it. And I think that's just something I've kind of built into habit through time, is just like, hey, I like where I'm at.
Exactly.
I need to be better though, and sometimes it takes a toll and it adds up and creates some anxiety. But at the end of the day, I think just if I ever can look at whatever I'm doing and say it's good enough, then I think I did something wrong.
Exactly. Like if you're ever feeling a little uncomfortable, then that's probably because you need to be trying to do something different or trying to grow, trying to move forward and trying to progress. And you've always had that mentality, man. Obviously that's one of the things that I respect about you a lot, is that you're never really content with anything. You're always just trying to move forward and keep going. I think I asked you a month ago or something like that what you wanted to do for 20K followers, and you was like, fuck that. Ask me when I get to 100 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's my fucking boy.
Yeah.
I just know, I just know that would have been, that's the perfect Nick response.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
That's how a lot of us should be coming, out here, when we're just trying to progress and get through life. And I feel like that's important. You gotta pull yourself up and try to get shit done, man.
All right, man. All right. Well, hey, good episode here. Maybe we'll link up very, very soon for another one. Maybe we'll make it a thing. But I think this podcast is back kicking up, and we're gonna have a lot of good shows to come for 2024. So if you listen to this, make sure you subscribe to wherever you do listen to it. If it's on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube or wherever, make sure you subscribe. And it's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year. Phontane, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, bro.
All right. See you guys.